I'm a widowed Omega. I applied for a nanny position at a CEO's house, only to have his son call me mom. The CEO waved his hand and decided on the spot to hire me. Me? Is he for real? It was only later, when he had me pinned to the bed, pumping his pheromones into my scent gland, that I finally got it. He really did want me to be his son's mom. Hello? Are you here for the interview? Ah, yes. Please wait here a moment. I nervously clutched the seams of my pants, feeling completely out of place and underdressed in the grand lobby. Suddenly, I felt a weight on my calf, like something was pulling on me. I looked down and saw an angelic little boy. This must be the CEO's son, I figured. I crouched down. Hey, little man, don't grab my pants, they're dirty. The boy's bright, watery eyes blinked as he stared at me without missing a thing. The next second, he called out in a clear, crisp voice, "Mommy!" I jumped in fright. If his little hands hadn't been holding me in place, I probably would have shot 10 feet in the air. Whoa, don't just call people that, little guy. I tried to back away, but the more I tried to peel his hands off, the tighter he gripped. Mommy, you are my mommy. I've seen your picture. For the love of God. I may be a widower, but my husband died before we could have kids. Where would I have gotten a child this big? I tried to reason with him gently. Sweetheart, do I just look a lot like your mommy? Because I'm really, truly not her. No, the boy said in a tiny, sweet voice. You are. You even smell just like my mommy. Just as I was starting to panic, a deep male voice sounded from behind me. Justin, come here. I turned to see the tall, handsome man of the house leaning against the doorframe, his expression serious. The little boy's lip trembled, but he finally let go of my pant leg and ran to his father. Sorry about that. You really do look a lot like my wife, Billy Vance said with a casual smile. He sat down on the sofa, and the movement caused his black silk robe to part slightly, revealing a hint of his well-defined muscles. I only glanced for a second before quickly looking away. It's okay. Kids, you know? It's normal for them to get confused. I get it. I'm not confused. Justin, be quiet, Billy said, casting a cold glare at the little boy. The presence of an alpha is really something else, I thought to myself. As a dad, he's certainly got the whole authority thing down. Congratulations. The job is yours. Can you start tomorrow? Of course, no problem. Wait, what? I got it? Just like that? Is there a problem? No. I'll be here on time tomorrow. Billy Vance nodded and gave me a deep, searching look. For some reason, his stare gave me goosebumps. It felt like I just walked into some kind of trap. Getting hired so casually, it couldn't be just because I look like his son's mom. Could it? I shook my head hard. That's ridiculous. No way. I was up at the crack of dawn the next day. After packing, all I had was one small suitcase that held everything I owned. A car accident had taken my husband and my memory, leaving me with a trauma I couldn't shake. Every time I see a stream of traffic, I start trembling uncontrollably and find it hard to breathe. Because of that, no matter how many jobs I interviewed for, I could never hold one down. Until I saw the Vance's job posting. No traffic, away from crowds, in a quiet environment, it was the perfect job. I treasured this hard-won opportunity. When I arrived at the Vance residence, I was surprised to see both father and son were already up and eating at the dining table. The little guy's face lit up when he saw me. He ran toward me, his short legs kicking. Mommy, have you had breakfast yet? Not yet, wait. Please stop calling me mommy. On the verge of tears, I shot a pleading look at Billy. Maybe it was just me, but I thought I saw a flicker of amusement in Billy's eyes. Justin. He raised his voice just a fraction. Leo, if you haven't eaten, come join us. I waved my hands frantically. No, I couldn't. We're going to be living together for a long time, Billy said, raising an eyebrow. Are you sure you want to be so formal with me? Okay, then. The moment I sat down to Billy's right, Justin scrambled to my left, boxing me in between the two of them. The pressure was immense. I could barely taste my food. Maybe I was imagining it, but I could smell the alpha pheromones coming off Billy. It was a pleasant cedarwood scent. I couldn't stop my eyes from drifting toward the back of his neck, where a thin suppressant patch was stuck. It didn't seem to be working, though, as the overwhelming scent of his pheromones still wafted out. It was the mark of a high-ranking alpha. But I didn't find it repulsive or uncomfortable. In fact, it felt kind of nice. My face and body started to feel warm, and I quickly made an excuse. "Excuse me, I need to use the restroom. Be my guest." I dug a pack of suppressant patches out of my bag, peeled off 2, and stuck them firmly to the back of my neck. I couldn't very well ask the man of the house to do something, so I just have to be more careful myself to avoid any embarrassment. I splashed some water on my face to cool the heat, then looked up at myself in the mirror. My cheeks were flushed pink, and my eyes looked a little dewy. Get a grip, Leo. You must be desperate. How could you have such a strong reaction to the first alpha you see? I kept splashing cold water on my face to fight down the heat. Just as it started to fade, I heard a knock at the door while I was drying my face with a paper towel. I quickly called out, "Come in. You've been in here a while." I was getting a little worried. Billy asked, "Is everything okay?" "Oh, everything's fine. I just got up too early and was feeling sleepy. I was just waking myself up." Billy chuckled. "I was worried you felt uncomfortable around us. I feel like I smell a fragrance in here. Is it coming from you?" Billy sniffed the air a couple of times. "Are you wearing cologne? Or is that the scent of your pheromones?" This was so embarrassing. My first day on the job, and I'd already lost control of my pheromones, and the boss smelled it. I wanted to jump out a window. I stammered an explanation. "It's probably the laundry pods or maybe my body wash." "Is that so?" Being in the same room as Billy, I could feel the heat I just managed to suppress rising again. Just then, Justin's voice called from outside, "Mommy." I felt a wave of relief. We should get back out there. The kid's calling me. Billy's lips curled into a smile. "Looks like Mr. Shaw is settling into this role quite well." "I'm not. I didn't. You've misunderstood." Billy laughed even louder. "Billy Vance? Was he flirting with me?" Of course, that's something I would never dare to ask. When we went out, Justin was already standing ramrod straight by the door with his little backpack on, holding his hand out to me. "Mommy, you have to take me to my piano lesson." Billy placed a light hand on my waist. "Let's go. I'll show you the route. This will be your job from now on." I took Justin's small, soft hand. The feeling of it in mine was surprisingly comforting. With Billy walking on my other side, the three of us looked almost like a real family. "Nope, can't think about that." I cleared my head and focused on memorizing the route. "Your file says you're widowed, Mr. Shaw. Is it rude to ask how your husband passed away?" Though Billy said it might be rude, his tone didn't sound apologetic at all.
À car accident.
"Did you love him?" I had no idea how the conversation had jumped to this, and my head was full of question marks. But I answered honestly, "I don't know. I don't remember anything. I've forgotten everything about my husband, and I don't remember if I loved him. But I must have, right? Or I wouldn't have married him." My voice grew quieter toward the end. I wasn't sure why I felt so guilty. "I see. Maybe it was just my imagination." But Billy's voice seemed to carry a hint of disappointment. "All right, we're here." I crouched down to look at Justin and said softly, "You be good in class, and I'll be back to pick you up." "Okay, Mommy." I was about to tell him for the 1,000th time not to call me Mommy, but I was interrupted by a soft kiss. Justin planted a loud smooch on my cheek and then ran off. He left me standing there, stunned. Billy snapped his fingers next to my ear. "Earth to Leo. Let's go." "Oh right." Justin was a truly lovable kid. He was very well behaved, except for the fact that he insisted on calling me Mommy. But I could understand. He grew up without a mother, and I just happened to look like her. After finally getting Justin to sleep, I found myself staring at his chubby little face, lost in thought. I couldn't help but think that if I had a child, he would probably be just like Justin. Bang, bang, bang. A heavy banging on the front door startled me. I quickly got up, closed the door to Justin's room, and hurried to the front door. When I opened it, I was met with the sight of a stunning-looking Omega with an impatient expression, struggling to support a barely conscious Billy. What happened to Billy? I instinctively reached out to help, but the Omega sidestepped me. He jutted his chin at me. "You're the nanny, right?" Get a glass of water and bring it to Billy's room. Oh, and while you're at it, the Omega gave me a slight smile. Grab a box of condoms. My mind was racing as I boiled water in the kitchen. The Omega had already helped Billy up to his room. I didn't know if I should do what the Omega said, but if Billy wasn't in an intimate relationship with him, why would he let the guy bring him home? Better not to meddle. Just do as I'm told. I grabbed a random box of condoms from a drawer and carried the water upstairs. I knocked gently on the door, but there was no answer for a while. Have they already started? Should I just leave? Just as I was debating whether to go, the door opened from the inside. I didn't dare to look. I just stuck a hand in, offering the condoms first. The next second, a large hand closed around my wrist and yanked me inside. Caught off guard, I stumbled into the room. It was only then that I saw the person who pulled me was Billy, who now seemed to be fully awake. At the same time, the beautiful Omega was forcefully shoved out, and the door was locked, shutting out all his curses and noise. And Mr. Vance, are you all right? I spilled half the water. I carefully offered him the remaining half glass, but Billy reached out and pulled me again, and I fell right into his arms. Well, there went the rest of the water. Honey, Billy buried his face in my neck, mumbling the same word over and over again. Honey. I couldn't help but remind him, Mr. Vance, look closer. I'm not your late wife. I emphasized the words late wife. Billy seemed not to hear me. Honey, I have nothing to do with that Omega. See? I kicked him out. I hate him. He kept coming on to me. He stinks. I only like your scent, honey. You smell so good. I'm a very faithful alpha. I really couldn't hold it in. I wanted to laugh. Finally exhausted, I just went along with him. Okay, I know. You're the best alpha. When I opened my eyes the next day, I found myself in the same position as last night, lying in Billy's arms. My face instantly turned beet red. Thankfully, Billy was still asleep. I quietly snuck out of his room. After I finished making breakfast, Billy woke up. When he saw me, his expression was the same as always. I casually tried to probe. Mr. Vance, do you remember what happened last night? Billy looked over at me. A smirk played on his lips. Not really. I just remember some Omega trying to take advantage of me. And you, as the house manager, didn't even kick him out. I had to handle it myself in the end. I was speechless. Pay attention next time, Mr. Shaw. Don't just let any random person into our house. Be tougher. He emphasized the words any random person. I was left standing there completely bewildered. How did I suddenly become the house manager? Is that right? Being Billy Vance's nanny was not an easy job. I wasn't just a nanny, I also had to be a house manager, a stay-at-home dad, and even Billy's +1 to cocktail parties. Sigh. What could I do? Billy was the boss. Even if I had 1,000 objections, it was useless. That weekend, Billy took me to get a custom suit. I stood there awkwardly while the tailor took my measurements. Suddenly, he asked, Mr. Shaw, do you typically dress to the left or the right? It took me a second to process. What? I asked, completely lost. If you dress to the left, we'll allow a bit more room on the left side. If you dress to the right, stop. My face was burning. I blurted out, the right, I guess. Very good. I didn't dare to look up, but I heard Billy let out a soft chuckle, as if amused by my embarrassment. I was blushing from head to toe. Thankfully, the torture session ended quickly. I kept my eyes down and tugged on Billy's sleeve. Let's go. The smile still seemed to be lingering on Billy's lips. Laugh, go ahead and laugh. Is my discomfort really that funny? I grumbled to myself. On Sunday evening, the custom suit was delivered to the house. Standing in front of the mirror, I felt like I'd gone through a total Cinderella transformation. That dizzying feeling lasted all the way until we entered the banquet hall. The moment Billy walked in, nearly every eye in the room was on him. Alphas, Omegas, even some betas. Then, their gazes shifted to me. I felt my breath catch in my throat. Billy shifted slightly, stepping half in front of me to block most of the stairs. Only then could I breathe again. A lot of people wanted to network with Billy, and I was quickly pushed to the side. I was happy for the peace and quiet, though, and found a corner to eat by myself. But it wasn't long before an alpha, his face flushed and reeking of alcohol, walked over to me. This is the first time I've seen Billy Vance bring a date to one of these things since his wife died. The alpha leaned in closer, his eyes clearly filled with ill intent. Who are you to him? I played dumb. Just the nanny. Don't make me laugh. Billy Vance would bring a nanny? You must be the replacement for his dead wife. Huh? You really do look just like him. I only saw him once, but still, how about this? Ditch Vance and come with me. It must suck being someone's substitute, especially a dead person's, right? I tried to hold back my anger. Please be respectful. Stop playing innocent, you little bitch. The alpha reached out to touch me. I struggled, but I didn't dare scream. The next second, he grabbed a handful of my hair and slammed my head against the wall. Ugh, ah. I heard the sound of glass shattering. When I opened my eyes, I saw Billy, his face dark, clutching a broken piece of a bottle and staring grimly at the alpha. The alpha lay on the ground, his head bleeding, breathing in ragged gasps. Billy Vance, are you crazy? How many lives do you think you have, daring to touch what's mine? The scene descended into chaos. The smell of blood mixed with pheromones, making many of the alphas in the room see red. Billy was no exception. Seeing that he was on the verge of losing control, I rushed forward and held on to him tightly. Billy, stop it. Stop it. I'm begging you. Billy. I instinctively released a bit of my omega pheromones, trying to soothe him. I don't know why I did it. It might have been dangerous, but I couldn't worry about that now. To my surprise, it worked. Billy was miraculously calmed. He lowered his hand and leaned against me, his consciousness fading. I immediately called the driver and told him to come pick us up. The whole way home, Billy kept nuzzling my neck, sniffing relentlessly. He clung to me like a koala, muttering, "Honey, honey." I was completely stiff and didn't dare to move. When we finally got home, I immediately started rummaging through the drawers for an alpha suppressant. But just being away from him for a moment was too much. He yanked me back forcefully. My limbs were completely pinned. Billy pressed me down onto the sofa, his eyes fierce. Don't run. Don't you leave me. If you leave me again, I'll chain you to this bed so you can never run away. I trembled slightly and tried to soothe him in a gentle voice. I'm not running. I just want to get you a suppressant. You'll feel better after you take it. Okay? No. Billy grabbed my wrist and pulled it downward. I froze instantly. You help me with this and I'll feel better. Billy's eyes were glistening. The powerful alpha looked almost pitiful at that moment. I want you to help me. After washing my hands, I glanced back at the sleeping Billy and fled in a panic. Oh God, Leo, what did you just do? He obviously just sees you as a substitute, a replacement for his dead husband, and you just went along with it. The more I thought about it, the crazier I felt. I tossed and turned in bed, unable to sleep. The next morning, I went downstairs with a heart full of dread. Billy had already left. I let out a huge sigh of relief. For the next few days, I deliberately avoided Billy. I'd make dinner before he usually got home, then take Justin back to his room to help him with his homework. Thank God for Justin. Otherwise, things would have been too awkward and humiliating. Mommy, did you and Daddy have a fight recently? I paused, surprised that a child could be so perceptive. No, of course not. Don't overthink it. Daddy really likes you. Before you came, he used to cry secretly while looking at your picture. I saw him do it lots of times. For some reason, a dull ache spread through my chest. He did? There was no doubt that Billy Vance deeply loved his late husband. And Leo Shaw, was nothing more than a cheap replacement. But even a cheap replacement can have feelings. I felt lost and miserable. Mommy, please don't fight with Daddy anymore. Okay? I wasn't really listening, but I mumbled a vague, okay. After avoiding Billy for who knows how many days, he finally lost his patience and cornered me. Leo, what exactly are you hiding from? I resorted to my most practiced skill, playing dumb. I'm not hiding from anything. I was wrong that night. I wasn't thinking clearly, and I made you do that. It made you uncomfortable, and you want to avoid me. I can understand that. But you can't avoid me forever. Can you? Not thinking clearly. Billy had admitted it. That night, he was confused and mistook me for someone else. A chill ran through my body. So cheap, so disgusting. I instinctively gagged. Billy's expression immediately became tense. Leo, what's wrong? I pushed his hand away and shook my head. It's nothing. How much of his concern was for the real Leo? I couldn't stand being this pathetic anymore. Mr. Vance, I'd like to make a request. What is it? I don't think I'm cut out for this job. I want to resign. What? Two voices, one large and one small, cried out in unison. Billy frowned. Leo, if you're unhappy with something, you can tell me. I'm not unhappy with anything, I said, looking at him calmly. But I think you know the reason. Billy's frown deepened. I already apologized to you. It's not about that. I glanced at Justin, then back at Billy, and finally took a deep breath, deciding to tell the truth. I hope you can move on from the shadow of your late husband soon, Mr. Vance. I know you hired me because you thought I looked a lot like him, but a fake can never be real. I don't want to be anyone's substitute. And Justin, even a child, has the right to know the truth. You can't keep hiding it from him forever. I said a lot in one breath. It was probably the most I had ever said to Billy since I started working here. Mr. Vance, it was nice knowing you. I wish you all the best. With that, I turned to go pack my things. Justin threw himself on the floor, hugging my leg and wailing. Mommy, don't go. Didn't you promise me you wouldn't fight with Daddy anymore? Why did you lie to me? You're a liar, Mommy. I crouched down and firmly but gently pried Justin's arms away. Justin, I'm gonna say this one last time. I'm really not your mommy, even though I love you so much. From the first time I saw Justin, I felt an inexplicable fondness and joy in my heart. I turned to leave, but Billy let out a derisive snort behind me. The complex emotions in his eyes had vanished, replaced by his usual casual indifference. Did I say you could go? Mr. Vance, you… Leo, did you not read the contract carefully when you signed it? He pulled a document from a drawer and held it in front of me. You can take a closer look now. If you can afford to pay this, you're free to go. I stared at it. My heart slowly turned to ice. Oh my God. Oh my God. The penalty for breaking the contract was $1 million. I couldn't afford that even if I sold myself. My fingers trembled, and the paper fluttered to the floor. Still leaving? My lips quivered. I gave up. Billy Vance was a true businessman. He never made a losing deal. I didn't know why he was so insistent on keeping a nanny around, but maybe my face just had that much entertainment value. Anyway, after I stayed this time, it was like Billy dropped the act. He started ordering me around for everything, making me handle every little thing personally. He called my name constantly, acting like a giant man-child. To put it bluntly, Justin was more mature than him. The bed's cold. Can you get in and warm it up for me? Fine. I'll endure it. Drying my hair is too tiring. Leo, you do it for me. I gripped his soft, dark hair, wanting to yank a handful out. I want Mommy to sleep with me, too. After that night, Justin gave me the cold shoulder for 3 days before unilaterally making up with me, becoming even clingier than before. Faced with this big one and little one, I really wished I could split myself in two for them. No way, Justin. He's my Omega, not yours. You'll get your own Omega to sleep with when you're older. Justin's lip quivered, and he was about to cry again. Ha, you cry when you can't win an argument. Crying all the time. Who's going to like you when you grow up? Billy's mouth was unbelievably vicious. He was only responsible for making the kid cry. I was the one who had to comfort him in the end. I shot him a fierce glare. Why are you arguing with a child? Justin, go to your room. I'll read you a story. Yay. I ignored the resentful look Billy was giving me from behind. Leo, remember to come back. I need to be tucked in, too. The nerve of this guy was unbelievable. I rolled my eyes and ignored him. The weather grew colder, and Justin's school break began. He was so excited, clamoring to go see snow. Atlanta, being in the South, almost never gets snow. Billy made a decision. We leave for Aspen tomorrow. I was shocked. That's so soon. Can't you see he can't wait another second? Billy said with a grin. Besides, you've had a long year. Go relax a bit. If you hadn't refused to let me leave, would I be this tired? I grumbled to myself. Billy was impossibly sharp. Are you bad-mouthing me in your head? I put on an innocent face. Of course not. It's okay. You can say it out loud. I don't mind. I turned my face away. He's nuts. Early the next morning, while Justin was still fast asleep, I fought off my drowsiness, dressed him, and basically carried him onto the plane. I closed my eyes on the plane, and after a good nap, we had arrived in Aspen. It was snowing in Aspen. Justin was ecstatic, his little hands constantly grabbing at the snow. The kids there were very friendly, and Justin quickly blended in with them, starting a snowball fight. I watched them quietly from the side. Looking at Justin's bright smile, I suddenly had the thought that a life like this wouldn't be so bad. But, Justin, be careful. Some of the kids were playing rough, and their snowball fight was turning into a shoving match. I frowned. Justin was bundled up against the cold, making it hard for him to move. It would be terrible if he fell and got hurt. The thought had barely crossed my mind when my pupils suddenly contracted. Before my brain could react, my body instinctively lunged forward. Watch out! I reached out to protect Justin's head from hitting the edge of a planter, but my own foot slipped, and my head made intimate contact with a stone wall. My vision went black, and I felt sick to my stomach. Mommy, 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 mommy. I could hear Justin's crying. In a daze, I saw Billy running toward me as fast as he could. Amidst the crying, my head felt like it was splitting open, and countless fragments of memory flooded in like a tidal wave. My name is Leo Shaw, and I am Billy Vance's late husband. I have a scar on my abdomen that I always thought was from the car accident. In reality, it was the mark of a mother, left after I gave birth to Justin. I wasn't a substitute. I was myself. No wonder the Vance family's job posting appeared on my phone. No wonder I could never quite understand the look in Billy's eyes. No wonder he wouldn't let me leave. No wonder Justin always called me mommy. Everything Billy did, he did for me. I opened my eyes. All I could see was white, and I heard the rhythmic beep, beep of a machine. I twitched a finger. The next second, the faces of Billy and Justin, one big and one small, appeared in my vision. Both faces were equally wrecked, their eyes red and swollen. Tears fell onto me, soaking my hospital gown. I opened my mouth and couldn't help but smile. I mouthed 2 words to Billy. Thank you. To persevere for so long, to do so much for me, really, thank you. It must have been so hard. My memory fully returned, and the blood clot in my brain finally cleared. My status in the house was upgraded from nanny to king of the castle. Billy washed my clothes, cooked my meals, and gave me foot and shoulder rubs every day. It was pure bliss. So, if I had never gotten my memory back, you were just going to keep me tied down with that contract forever? First of all, honey, it was impossible for you not to regain your memory. It was just a matter of time. I consulted with doctors about it, Billy said seriously. That fall was just a blessing in disguise that helped you remember sooner. Besides, you couldn't remember anything. How could I just force you to be my husband? I couldn't just kidnap you and lock you up at home. You would have hated me for it when you came to your senses. Billy looked pitiful. Don't think I don't know. You really did think about doing that. During his rut, his mouth had taken over his brain, and all his true feelings came pouring out. But I didn't do it, did I? I could never bring myself to, Billy said with a playful grin. Anyway, even if you lost your memory once, I was confident I could make you fall in love with me all over again. A faint heat rose to my cheeks. Billy was right. He definitely had what it took to make my heart flutter again and again. Mommy, I'm never playing in the snow again. Oh, I almost forgot about Justin. It wasn't your fault, I said, stroking Justin's head. If it weren't for you, Mommy wouldn't have remembered so quickly. I'm sorry, my baby. Justin snuggled softly against me. He kissed my face over and over. At this moment, I could finally enjoy Justin's affection without any guilt. But now, Billy was the one who was unhappy. Stop kissing him. That's my husband. Justin clung to me even tighter. My mommy. My husband. My mommy. My husband. My ears hurt. A month later, I had fully recovered. Billy suggested taking me to see his father. He's not my father, Billy said, his expression cold. My father died a long time ago. He's just a substitute. What do you mean? You'll know when you see him. In the psychiatric ward, the man before us was gaunt and emaciated, but his features still held a familiar outline. He looks a lot like my father, doesn't he? Who would have thought he was a substitute my uncle cooked up? Billy laughed self-deprecatingly. Even I didn't notice. So the car accident was their doing? Yes. A desperate move. They should have known that if they couldn't kill me, they would be the ones to die. Hearing the noise from our direction, the old man slowly turned his head. He rasped, "Little bastard. Little bastard. The little bastard has come to visit you. With my husband and my child," Billy said with a smirk. "My family is happy and whole. Look at you. You spent your whole life scheming, only to end up in a mental hospital. I won't kill you. Sometimes, living is more painful than dying. You should have thought of this when you threatened me with Leo's life. Father." The man in the room rattled his chains, venting his useless rage. But it was all in vain. I took Billy's and Justin's hands, leaving all the shadows of the past behind us. After we got back, Billy was noticeably down. Even though he had acted like a triumphant peacock in front of his enemy, he was completely deflated in front of me. I released some of my omega pheromones to soothe him. "What's wrong? Are you upset?" "No." Billy turned and hugged me tightly. "I'm just scared. I keep having nightmares about the accident. Over and over, I watch you get taken away, and I can't save you. I can't do anything. When I think about it, I feel so much hatred and fear. Even after seeing them in their pathetic state now, I'm still terrified it will happen again." I opened my mouth and bit down hard on Billy's scent gland. It was a deep bite, but Billy only grunted, letting me do as I pleased. "How's that? Feeling any clearer? I'm alive and well right here. Why are you always dwelling on such unlucky things? Are you trying to jinx me?" "No. I love you, Billy Vance." I held his face seriously. "I love you. I love you. I will never leave you. I'll tell you every day. Okay? Okay." Billy lowered his eyes. "I can't control my dark thoughts sometimes. I feel like the outside world is dangerous, and I just want to lock you in the house, chain you to the bed. Like this." I watched as Billy took a chain from a hidden compartment in the headboard. Then he gently clasped it around my wrist. "There. Isn't that beautiful? It feels like this is the only way I can be at peace." My wrist twitched uncontrollably. It took every ounce of my willpower not to curse him out as a pervert. I repeated a mantra in my head. Billy has PTSD. Billy is very insecure. As his husband, I should be understanding. Be understanding, my ass? I kicked him. "Get this off me right now." Billy took off his shirt and pressed down on me from above. "Just for tonight, okay? Indulge me a little, honey." My heart softened for a moment. "Fine, just for tonight." As a result, I bitterly regretted that sentence for the entire night. Billy was like a starved animal. It was as if he was trying to make up for all the years we had lost. The scent of cedarwood alpha pheromones filled every corner of the room. If any other alpha or omega had walked in right then, they probably would have fainted from the intensity. "You bastard, if I ever agree to this again, I'm an idiot." Billy's response was another bite mark, deeply embedded in my scent gland. He kissed my tear-streaked face. "I love you, honey. I'll love you forever." Extra, the car accident. Blood. There was so much blood. Billy struggled to open his blurry eyes. The pain made him drift in and out of consciousness. "Leo. Leo." He opened his mouth, but his throat felt clogged with blood, and he couldn't make a sound. Just moments ago, when the other car had come straight at them, he had instinctively wrenched the steering wheel to his side. But in that split second, Leo had grabbed the wheel and yanked it hard in the other direction. That single action was why he was still conscious. But Leo's condition was unknown, and it wasn't good. He tried to reach out, but the next second, the car door was ripped open. Leo was like a bird with a broken wing, dragged mercilessly from the car. "No, don't. Don't take my husband. Don't take my baby. Don't. Ha!" Billy woke with a jolt, gasping for air. He instinctively reached for the person beside him. Thank God. Thank God. He was alive. Warm. In a sleepy haze, Leo asked, "Another nightmare?" "Yeah." "Come here." "I'll hold you." Billy smiled and snuggled into his husband's arms like a big bird. The scent of omega pheromones surrounded him, chasing away the chill of the nightmare. Leo had hired many therapists for Billy, but none seemed to work very well. The progress was minimal. Gradually, he began to notice something. Billy seemed to have a deep-seated insecurity about him leaving. Could be a big thing like a business trip, or something as small as a trip to the grocery store. Even if Billy didn't say anything, he could still feel it. So, whenever he was out, he would frequently video call Billy. The two of them had stumbled through more than a decade together, but they were still as inseparable as newlyweds. Billy knew that Leo was trying, in his own way, to put him at ease. But sometimes, some shadows are like maggots on a bone, incredibly hard to get rid of. Until another spring arrived. And with the spring came the news of a baby in Leo's belly. Justin had been clamoring for a little sister, and his wish came true. The newborn was a girl, an omega with eyes just like Leo's. Billy was absolutely smitten. With the arrival of this child, the anxiety in Billy's heart was miraculously smoothed away. For all the years that followed, the nightmares never returned.